Pam here, and I'm back to show you how we're going to finish off our infinity scarf. So your scarf should be all stitched at this point to the length that you want it. You can try it on, wrap it around your neck 2 times, and make sure that the ends can meet up comfortably. I believe the pattern says that you should stitch it for 42 inches if memory serves me. I think mine is a little bit longer than 42 inches just because mine's a little bit of a tighter stitch. I don't crochet overly loosely. And I just wanted to have a little bit of extra give, a little bit of extra length, so mine's probably more like, I don't know, 45 inches. You're going to need your scissors, your crochet hook, and a yarn needle. And I'm going to show you how we're going to end off our scarf. So you're going to want to lay your scarf out flat and fold it in on itself, like so it's folded over. And you're going to want to put your end where your loop is left here, from where you just finished stitching. Okay, my crochet hook was actually in this loop here. Let me just grab that loop back again. Okay. And we're going to essentially attach this end to this end. Or this side to this side. There's 2 ways to do this. You can either pull up a length of thread or length of yarn as much as you think you're going to need to sew across this end with your yarn needle, or you can crochet across the end, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to show you here now. So I'm just going to turn my scarf so that both of my, hang on, I'm going to chain 1 on the end of my, and it doesn't matter if you ended on a double crochet round or if you end on a single crochet round. You're just going to chain 1 so you can turn your scarf. Get my yarn out of the way here. I'm getting it all tangled up on myself. Bear with me. So now that you've got your 2 ends matched up, your crochet side that you would normally be stitching back the row is going to be on the side closest to you. The other end of the scarf is going to be on the other side. It doesn't matter if your tail is on this end or the other end. That's just going to depend upon which row you finished off on here. And we're actually going to crochet these rows together using a slip stitch. Whoops, sorry about that. We're actually going to crochet these ends together using a slip stitch. So slip stitch is very easy. You're going to grab your yarn like you normally would. Let's see if I can focus in here a little bit better. Normally you would do a single crochet into this first stitch here. We're actually going to put our hook through that stitch just like we're going to do a single crochet. But instead of picking up yarn on the other side, we're then going to put our hook through these spaces. So one at a time, each of these little areas on the side of the scarf in here, we're going to go through these as well. So we're going to go in through this one. So now you have both sides of the scarf on your needle. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull the yarn through both of those sides of your scarf. Instead of yarning over again to pull through like you would normally do for a single crochet, you're just going to continue to pull that yarn through, oops, of course I'm going to lose mine, through your loop. And that is a slip stitch. So then we're going to go into the next one, into the next hole on this side, and you're going to go into the next hole on that side. yarn over, pull it through, and continue to pull it through the loop that's on your hook. This is really difficult to do when I'm looking through the camera instead of looking at my work. Maybe I should look around the camera at my work. So we're going to try that again. In through this hole, okay, in through the next loop on the other side, okay, yarn over, pull through both, and continue and pull through the loop, oops, I'm out of camera, the loop that's on your hook. So essentially what's happening is you're creating a join here, just a little rib. And that's attaching these two sides together. So I'll show you a couple more times. Into the next stitch, into the next stitch on the opposite side, yarn over, pull through both those stitches, and continue to pull through the loop on your hook. Into the next stitch, into the next stitch on the opposite side, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. So again, it's joining it. You have this little ridge on this side, and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. On the other side, it's just stitched together. No real horrendous seam. Okay? This is the way I prefer to join things when I crochet. I like that I don't have to cut my yarn, and I can just continue using my crochet hook to pick up the loops and join them as I go. If you want to sew it together, you certainly can if you find that easier. You just cut your yarn and use your darning needle or your yarn needle to sew it together on the ends. So you're just going to continue putting your hook through the stitches along both ends and slip stitching all the way to the end of the scarf. And you can see that these stitches kind of match up to each other. So you've got your actual V on the side where you finished crocheting, and on the bottom edge you would have these little loops that are sort of a sideways V from the end of your scarf. So we're going to do that to the end, and then I'll come back. Okay, once you've gotten to the end of where your scarf is connected, so I've joined up all the pieces, you're just going to chain one and pull that end so it's a little bit longer, and you're then going to use your scissors and just cut off the end and finish pulling that through and give a little tug to tighten it. So that's it. So now you should have two pieces of thread or two pieces of yarn that are still attached. The piece that we just finished joining with and the piece that was your tail from earlier when you started. This is how your seam will look on one side, and on the other side it will look just like this. Okay, and we're just going to take our yarn needle and weave these ends in. So I'm just going to thread my yarn needle. And along this edge, I'm just going to weave the end in here, back and forth a few times along the edge, and pull the yarn through. Not too snug, I don't want to create a pucker there. Same thing, just weave it a couple more times, back and forth. And what we're doing is we're just burying the yarn in the ribbing. And just snip the end off. And that's done. So that's one end. Pull it a little bit. There we go. The other side, same thing. Thread the yarn needle. And we're just going to weave that back and forth through the ribbing a couple of times. Now I'm sure there's other ways to do this, just happens to be the way that I do it, and it's always worked for me. Haven't had any problems with it. I've never had a piece come apart. Same thing, just weave it a few more times into the ribbing here. Pull it through. Again, you don't want to pull it really tight because you don't want to pull the stitches. And just cut off the end. And we're all done. Ends are all sewn in. Scarf is attached. So that's the end of our crochet along. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the section down below. If you have any suggestions for an upcoming crochet along that you'd like for me to do you want to learn how to do a hat to go with your scarf? Do you want to learn how to do a blanket of some sort? Pop those in the description as well, and I will try to do another crochet along. Till then, happy stitching. Have a great day.